two ladies in red and aviation, but I would like to discuss with you an issue which is not that beautiful and nice, but it's worrying, in fact. Last time we saw each other, it was EBACE and brilliant Greenpeace activists disturbing the event, accusing the business aviation industry being climate criminals. What we missed in our communication to arrive in a situation like that?
I think there's a little bit of historical, and I think we have to look at our own conduct over the years. I've long said that we need some of the users of business aviation to be more vocal about why they use business aviation, whether that is to get to a facility that is remote, that employs people, whether that is for safety, as in the case of big football teams and big, bands that we all like to go and see, whether it is to transport organs, to save people's lives. There are so many really important reasons why business aviation exists. And for a long time, a lot of owners have wanted to, understandably, I can see why they have, to hide behind it a little. And we as an industry haven't been, I think, as forthcoming to enroll them into telling the story of why it's so valuable to use it. So I think there's a little bit of that. And we've got a different environment today, and everybody needs to be pulling together to just to say that this is what we do as an industry and own it.
What do you think when it happened actually after first emotional reaction? And so I think that we need to go deep in explaining, educating companies, large public, even end consumers of how they should communicate about business aviation. Do you think we need to be very precise, even with numbers, and tell how many jobs a business aircraft is bringing to the society? But should we be very precise in telling this aircraft bring 100 and something job to the region? This is the economical impact. Will people understand better if we talk that way?
100% being and today's communications environment is very much video. A lot of young people will get their news, will do their research on TikTok now rather than YouTube. And if you look at the creativity on that platform, the way people are telling stories there, it's incredible. It blows me away how short and sharp a video can be with and you can really put a lot of information into a short amount of time. But if we're not there and telling short form stories, as well as the longer form, more considered podcasty style conversations like we're doing now, we are really digging ourselves into a hole that it might be very, very difficult to come back from. Because the other thing that's important to remember is as AI gathers pace, that is picking up its information and then translating that information into what's most likely as an outcome. And if anything that's out there is negative stories, or the vast majority is negative stories about business aviation, and we're not out there, then again, we need to be really mindful. And we're not living in 1997, 2007, or even 2017 now. We're in a very different, fast-paced environment.
I know you for some years, and I think you have a very right message, storytelling, because each and every company, each and every investment and achievement, it has a story. Do you see people thinking like they are telling the story, short, long, or they are still in the past, as you said. They are not, they're in pre-COVID marketing thinking yet.
I totally agree. I was at a press conference at EBACE, I won't say which one, and there were 4 middle-aged white guys on the stage who were giving a lot of data about what their company was doing. They make aeroplanes, and, in fact, most of the conferences, gonna call you out, guys, that was the team up there was middle-aged white guys. I love middle-aged white guys, I'm a middle-aged white woman, but, we need to see more diversity up there straight off, so it's more relatable for a wider group of people. And I actually said, "Well, this is great, but how am I gonna tell this story to the protesters out there? Because what you've given me is, I didn't use the word boring, but it was the way they presented it. There are so many more interesting ways they could do. With graphs, with short form media, they could show some of the plants that they were getting the fuel from. They could show young people at computers doing the work to create this whole decarbonisation strategy. There are millions of different imagery they could have used. And instead, it's the same as I've seen since I've been in the industry, which is 20 years. And, it's like, we need to change.
We need to do something. I met my ex company in Geneva, and again, it was the same message, same way of communication. And as I know them for a long time, I told, listen, guys, it's boring. Please, let's dance on the table. Let's spread the message in a different way. I mean, maybe it will not be the right way, but just by doing something different, you will be hurt. And this is the
Yes.
point, basically. So I'm pretty much a little bit worried about guys who are thinking like back in 2005, 10, and the emergency of situation is not really yet in the head of all marketing guys. Uh, what you suggest we do here and now? We talk first to marketing departments, or we as content creator medias, we fight for the industry in telling positive things, in educating larger public and consumers and even business aviation actors.
Well, you, I think, do a brilliant job. I absolutely love what you do. You have completely, just everything you put out is golden, and I just really applaud you for what you've done. You're a real voice of positivity for the industry, and I think that the whole 50 Sky Shades idea is just magic, and I love it that you really curate some fantastic material there. So I think definitely people should be coming to you and putting their making
That's,
sure that you're.
I mean, there's a lot of people who cannot be there for everyone. But what I'm trying to do, I tell all media guys, marketing agencies, and so on, I tell, we're doing the same job. And
Mhm.
when we are together, we're stronger.
Most definitely. And take this. I mean, I've got this obviously lovely static background of a private jet, but you could take so many elements of this. You could take the way the seats are made. But you show the story of the supply chain. You could do the thinking of how you even come to think about these seats in here and why they're so comfortable, how there is a sustainability story, how suppliers are selected. You could go out and look at, maybe a very small company somewhere whose livelihood depends on this. And then you could ideally talk to someone who flies privately who says, well, actually, I charter or I own an aircraft because this, and really get a much more holistic sense of what's actually happening. How does the aircraft fly? Show it. I mean, I will always advocate for video. I jumped into video in 2014 because I could just see what was happening then. And I do say to people, be very be very aware with AI, use it to start to form your content, but do be aware there are so many ways now that we can search for what people are actually thinking and looking at and feeling online. And definitely just do a bit of a mental shake-up and, it's not gonna work. I still see lots of amazing, companies who have one kind of hero video on their website, which is gorgeous, it's lush, but, it's same. Draw your inspiration from a lot of the content creators out there because there's never been a better time to create storytelling, whether you do it visually or whether you do it on a podcast. We've never had a better opportunity to get our voice out than we have now.
Do you think people, especially from big companies, are afraid of being different and of being ridiculous?
Yeah, particularly the larger the corporation is, the more layers of decision making you've got to do, and it's a very different vibe. I don't really do well within them. I tried in my youth to work in large companies, and I'm a bit. It's not a fit for me, but I do understand how they work, and also that they're talking about multi billions of dollars in some instances of product that they've got for sale. And that being said, it takes longer, I think, for a large company to turn around, but we don't have that luxury of time that people thought. We've got to speed up the way we do things and be more agile. So even the large companies, yeah, definitely. They need to, I would say, come to us too, because we're aviation marketing professionals. That's exactly what we do. We've been doing it for a long time now, and we actually get the industry. I think some of the things, like you say, when people feel that they might look ridiculous, it's finding that convergence of great, perhaps young content creators, but having that tempered with, yeah, you need to actually understand the industry. So a little bit of monitoring and collaboration. I collaborate with a young content creator who's fantastic. He's my mentor, my reverse mentor. And I love working with young content creators. And at the same time, I have knowledge that they don't. So it's a knowledge sharing as well.
For last 2 years, I think I got a very different vision of the industry I love, and I've been there for many years now, in different from different sides. But as you said, the young generation, I have the privilege. One of my four daughters work with me on 50 Sky Shades. It was not her choice at the very beginning, but then she got really inspired. But it's amazing what I have as a feedback. She sees things different. Yes, did she don't have that much of experience, but sometimes, exactly for storytelling, as you said, I think what she tells, I compare to what I know for years, and the result is something which can be totally different and fresh, as you tell. Mental shake is necessary for everyone. We are doing, I think, some mental shakes during the year, so that's why we're a little bit different. Uh, I definitely would love to organize something. I think I am ready to come up with an idea, and then I will reach out to many content creators I know for years. And you will be one of the first to know what exactly I'm planning to boom to help the industry because, as you tell, uh, after COVID, it was so fast. Everyone forget about what business aviation was actually doing during COVID. When bad things are a little bit far away, people don't remember those things. How many lives were saved thanks to business aviation? Nobody talks that much about medical evacuation. Okay, it's not a sad topic, but this is business aviation saving lives each and every day, everywhere in the world. all the disaster relief and so on. It's business aviation who's coming. So if we are called and pointed out as an easy target, there is one very interesting thing you told when I saw everything you did for EBACE. It's actually there, people investing in all innovations, heavily investing in innovations. And we're not doing business aviation, is not doing this only for people in business aviation, because it can be used in each and every other industry. All the chemical products produced by the same plants, and it can be used in everyday life. And how many innovations which started in business aviation now are used in everyday lives? People have no clue about that. So I suggest we come stronger together. We do a mental shake for marketing guys from big, small, and different aviation companies, and let's scream we are there for them. We can make change and we can spread the message, and it's necessary now.
Mhm. I think too, Tatiana, you touched on a really important thing when you said about the big companies being afraid to look foolish. I think behind a lot of video content, when people appear on video, it's very exposing. So, for the kind of top leaders, they have plenty of media training. So, doing a lot more of this off the cuff, I always have loved to do a spontaneous. I'll get a bit silly with people, as well as the sensible thing. I always like to have a bit of fun with people, and I think increasingly, people get afraid to be a bit silly. When you look at the brilliance of some of the content that's coming out of, I'll say TikTok again, but that is young people not being afraid to look a bit silly. And I think it's very important to coming up against this visibility thing, and I've seen it particularly in women. I've experienced it myself, it's like, oh, what do I look like? What do I sound like on camera? And get very self-conscious. And now is not the time to do that. If I have one piece of advice for anybody, large company, small company, it's you're not speaking about it's not about show, it's not about you. It's about something much, much bigger. Think about it, if it helps, about being your child, being someone young that you know. We are custodians of each generation is a custodian of the world and the planet that we've got. So it's up to us now, kind of people like my vintage and within 10 years or so, just speak up, because it's no longer about us. It's not about looking silly. It's about sharing the story in today's storytelling culture. I think that's a brilliant idea, creating something where people can learn how to do content. It's massive.
We will work on that. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much. I look forward to see face to face on our new next event. And as soon as I'm ready to discuss potential cooperation, what we can all do together here and now, I will secretly reach out to you and we will discuss it.
I'm very excited for that. Watch this space.
I will do that. I think I'm ready. I was having this idea right after EBACE, and now I think it's quite pretty. Thank you very much. Looking forward. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you.
So as soon where I have partager l'écran.